All right, welcome everybody to Shelter, info session number one. We're just going to say a quick prayer, and then if we can all maybe introduce ourselves. I think a lot of you potentially or already have decided to be going on this trip, which I think is fantastic, and hopefully some of you guys can possibly make the decision. So let me just say a quick prayer, and then we'll jump right into this. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for each and every one here today. We just continue to pray for the work that we are planning to do down in El Salvador and for the team that is working already down there. We just pray that we can just come out of this meeting with more information and just encouraged with what is coming down the line with the fundraising and the commitments that we are going to make or have made already. We just thank you for each and every one, and just help us to grow as a team and together, and for us to learn a bit more of what it means to serve in a different country and how we can serve together as well. And yeah, we just bless our time and our conversation. You want to pray? Amen. All right, so first on the list, guys, we're going to go over some logistics. So I don't know how many of you guys have completed the application, or if you're planning to complete the application. That's kind of like the number one thing. So we're a little bit behind in the scheduling. So essentially, we have I think most of you guys have done the application, and some of you hopefully will be doing it soon. It is an online process that will be, you just click the link. If you don't have the link, just come talk to me. Click the link, fill out the form. It does require your passport information, but there's some people that don't have the passport yet, so we just ask that you just fill in a bunch of zeros. So a passport number 00000, expiry date 20 20 40, just to get it through the door, and then we will update all of those as your passports come in. So that is one thing that I always wanted to make sure that everybody, that even if you don't have your passport, we do ask that you still fill out the application. And then the cost for the initial deposit is $250, and that goes to your flights and your in-country costs. Those costs has been confirmed, it's just under $2,000 for in-country costs plus your flights. So that's what cost will go there, and then whatever else will be fundraising and looking for donations for. So does anyone have any questions in regards to like applications or the initial deposits? If anyone is, any questions in that regards? Sorry? Yep, I can send you the link for sure. You can send it to me or to Carrie. Carrie will get all the information. It go to Carrie anyways, but it's good to know that if I'm being missing something, for example, if I'm missing your passport, I know that you've made an application that does not have your passport. It's great to know if you send it to me, or at least CC me in the email, that I know we have updated that portfolio, and then we're good to go in that regard. So essentially I have a list of everybody that has already filled out the forms, as well as what information is missing. So as we complete and get further along, that list will be more and more filled with all the information coming through, as well as what the fundraising numbers are looking like and where we're at as a team, as well as individually. So it's like a really extensive tracking process to make sure that every person that is fundraising not only has the individual fundraising, and then all of the totals are added into Alberni Builders as a general pot as well, so that we're tracking both sides. Because some people will fundraise more than a house build as well, and then some of those funds will be pushed over from one side if someone else isn't able to raise all the funds for a house. So, yeah. If that answers your question. Perfect. So yeah, the next thing that we need is passports. So if you don't have your passports or your passports are expiring, that is something that we want to make sure you guys are on top of, definitely sooner than later. So essentially, if you don't have your passport, you want to apply for it before our next session. If you're expiring, you want to reapply for it before next session. And if you've already applied for it, then it should hopefully be in before the next session. And if not, it will be in definitely before the third session. So we just want to make sure that information gets moved along swiftly up the doors, so that we're good and have everything covered on our end, especially for the tickets and for the flights. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So if anyone didn't catch that, just making sure you have 6 months after the trip, so it's something that does not expire before May of 2025, essentially, or June. Yes. So that's a great question. Essentially, they're asking if you make a fund into the general donations without labeling what it's specifically for, where does the funds go? Those funds go to the houses that we will be building. Essentially, if you do not specify that you're donating to a specific person's in-house, in-country costs or travel, the funds will be going to the house builds. So the donation will be going to essentially those house builds unless you specify specifically for individual. So house builds cost a lot more than individuals going, and so we are grateful for the money that you have donated. Absolutely. Yep, no, for sure. So that's a great question. Great question. For those who don't know, we're just confirming to make sure the passports are up to date, and if not, we have pushed the application in that sense, or renew the application and make sure that our passports are not expiring within 6 months of travel. Okay. We are now moving on to vaccinations. So, recommended vaccinations is called the Trinrix. I believe I pronounced that correctly. Essentially, it's hepatitis A and hepatitis B. I believe it can be done in 2 doses, but there's a period of time that has to be done in between both of them. I may be wrong. I haven't had mine updated in a while because they last quite a bit, but it's something that is up to you guys to look into. If you have any questions or vaccination, Nanaimo has a great place. I think possibly one in town, but I don't know. I remember last time I traveled, I had to go to Nanaimo to get those. Very easy process. You call them, essentially ask you what you want. You just let them know the Trinex, and then you set up a date, and then you stick a needle into you, and you're good to go. Perfect. That's great. Yeah. So it's something that's more obviously readily available, which is great to hear. So, but it is recommended because essentially it's just like there's lots of sharp objects and whatnot, and just want to be protected for that. So. Yes. Yeah, there's options just to have for one or the other if you already have Hep A or Hep B covered. So, or you can just double load, which I don't think is a bad thing or a good thing, but. Yes, no one checks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a great comment. Essentially, what he says is that if it's recommended, but to travel in and out of El Salvador, no one's checking to see what your vaccinations are, or if you have up to date and on whatnot. So it's just recommended. So we highly recommend you guys to take those Hep A and B, but we're not going to be like, making sure that you have it before going on the trip. So just recommended. Good safety practice. And also for other traveling other places as well too. So, okay, the next thing I want to ask you guys and do a bit of brainstorming actually, and how's that video, Alex? Okay, no worries. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna get your information down after the session today, and I'm gonna send you 2 videos. Please watch them on your own time. We're gonna do this bit more of a brainstorming idea and I would like to hear you guys' thoughts of that. Essentially, it's about poverty. So there's 2 videos. One shelter has its own video of an intro to poverty, which we'll get you guys to watch on your own time, about 13 minutes long. And the next one that we'll get you guys to watch is a video on when helping hurts. And I'm going to talk to Pastor Matt after and see if we can get some copies for those interested in actually reading this book. This book essentially, like I said, covers the essence of what it looks like to serve in third world country where there's lots of poverty, and the difference of culture, the difference of resources, even what it means to help and what is helpful and what isn't helpful in third world countries. And so there's a lot of information I didn't know, and I'd recommend you guys reading this book because it's it could be a pretty big shock for a lot of people to realize what it looks like to be in like utter poverty. So. But those are 2 videos I'm going to send to you, so I want to make sure that I have each and every one of your contacts before you guys go. Does anyone have, so the next item we have is fundraising, which is obviously one of the biggest ones for this because most of this is, the funding here is going to be coming through fundraising. One of the main ones that we have that we want to plan is going to be live auction. And I'm thinking maybe around July, and there's a couple of reasonings for this. If we do our big fundraiser too late, we don't really know how much funds we have, and it could be quite stressful for everybody, not knowing what those funds are. July is kind of like the mid area of our fundraising, because we're going to be really fundraising from this point pretty much to the end of September, and so I thought if we can kind of shoot for July, it gives us enough time to plan it. Hopefully, there'll be enough people to come in the summertime, and it won't be too early right before school starts, and it won't be like as soon as school's over. So I'll just give you a bit of my own thoughts of it. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. So I'm thinking for venue-wise, we'd go to rent the conference room at the casino. I think that it would be a really cool idea to make it as formal as possible. So everyone's required to wear, suits. It would be almost like a gala style, white linen. Everybody will be given auction cards or holders and whatnot. And then we have a couple people that know some live auction ears, which they will be going around and essentially live auctioning desserts out. We're thinking maybe we would bring some of like sparkling apple juices and we'll be serving them we'll have some catering with small appetizers. Hopefully we can get them all donated. And essentially we want to invite as many people with as deep as pockets as possible in the entire town. We're going to ask every doctor in town, every real estate agent, yeah, every contractor, every builder. I'm thinking we'll maybe cap it around 100 people. But there's a couple reasons why I think live auctioning would be quite successful. In fact, a lot of the teams that we went on to the team leadership in El Salvador does this specific fundraiser because of how successful it is. Most recently, there was a team that's run by the 2 young adults actually are running a team from Calgary. And they just had the live auction three weeks ago. They raised after deductions $25,000 in the auction, so it can be very, very successful. I don't know how it will be for Puerto Berni, but I have. Yeah, it wasn't a big city. It's just like at the end of the day, a lot of people come with kind of an expected amount they're going to donate, and then when you're battling against someone, you're playing with a bit of more of an emotional sides of things, and it can be to our benefit sometimes. So, but yeah, that's kind of the idea that I had thought. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. I'm also thinking we'll have some of the youth participate. Coat check-ins, we'll make it as official as possible, so we'll do coat check-ins and give them numbers, maybe announce them as they come through the door once they've checked in and whatnot, and then they'll be half standing, half seated, and then once we have the live auction, the auctioneer will have like a mic so that he can actually walk through the crowd as opposed to just standing at the top. I think it's a bit more engaging when you can have the auctioneer walking around, but that's kind of like just a rough idea about that idea. Does anyone have any thoughts, processes to that? Okay, so it's a dessert. That's a great question. So we're not auctioning live. Yeah, we're not auctioning live people. We are auctioning desserts. We're auctioning desserts. So we're gonna go around the community and have people volunteer to make, whether it's professionally, whether it's small businesses, desserts and pastries, and then we will be setting them up. I think the thought would be we would order a bunch of like those glass cake stands, with the glass covers, so they will all be lined up in the same manner, and they'll all be labeled. So we'll just have like a long white linen table with every single item on that table with all the glass. I think it would be like really, we could really like sell the pastries and the desserts, and then go from there. So, but yeah, no live people for sale. But yeah. Um, yes. I have done business year-end parties at the casino, so I'm going to ask them if they can give us the venue, donate the venue to us. At the end of the day, it's not the venue that usually costs as much. It's usually the food or the drinks that they will charge for it. And because it's going to be more of a conference style, I'm going to see what that looks like. Ideally, obviously, we are trying to get everything donated so that all the money that we can fundraise will go back to that. If if there's an upfront cost, there's a couple ways we can go about it. But the biggest thing is like, yeah, I can talk to you after what that would look like and see for cost-wise, and I can let you guys know what that looks like. I also don't mind donating like the venue or stuff like that if that came down to it, just to make numbers easier for everyone. Because I just want as much of that fundraiser to go back to, uh, yeah, to the fundraising. Yep. Definitely. That's a good idea. I don't know. Totally. Definitely. Yeah. Exactly. So with the dessert night, everybody knows it's going to be desserts. They may not know what specific desserts. Usually, the mentality that Pastor Mel was saying is that most people already have an idea or a figure of what they're going to donate. The nice thing is that when it's not a bunch of items, it's not about getting the item at a lower cost. It's about just donating the money. It's more about the giving spirit. And so that's why they found that the dessert night live auctions are so successful, because they've already come with the idea of giving, and sometimes they give a bit more than that just because of the environment, and they might be battling someone that's also equally as generous in that situation. If, if anything, I think it would be more advantageous if you can push those times for, or like put your efforts into personal donations. If you can talk to those businesses and ask them to donate more personally, as opposed to like donating something to an auction in that regard. So that's what I feel like would be better spent in efforts for donations. If it was like, for example, Beaver Creek Home Center, rather than asking them for them to donate some materials to a live auction, to trying to auction off, just ask them, hey, are you guys able to sponsor a house? That's kind of the mentality that's the effort where I would put my efforts towards, or go in that general area. Absolutely. Sorry? A presentation for. Yes, yes, yes. At the fundraiser, yeah. Well, there will be like a presentation of what this is for, what we're doing with the money, where's the money going to, what our costs are, what the building costs are, and then show a little video of like, the house being built and whatnot, and the impact that the donations will have. I think it will be even more successful next year, the following year. Once we can come back, we can show them the videos of the team that has gone and built these things, and the families that have been impacted, and the children that we've worked alongside. I think that really brings back a lot more memories when they can see the direct correlation of their donation, as opposed to like click and get a receipt, and that's all you ever hear of the place you've donated to. Yep. Yeah. Yes, we do have some footage for this time. Yes, and there's a lot of generic footage out there as well that's available, but it's just, I think it can be more personal when they can see the people that they have donated to, and usually there's like personal relationship. Like Puerto Benny isn't that large, so we know a lot of people in town already as it is, I'm sure, and so when they can see like Pamela working alongside a mother putting some screws into the panel, it's like, okay, that's really cool. Like when we donate to Pam, we're supporting her overseas to build these homes for these communities, for these families. So I think it adds to that. And I know one other person actually calls like some of the bigger sponsors that like donates like a full house and whatnot. He'll actually take 5 minutes and he'll just FaceTime them while he's in El Salvador and say, hey, like this is the house your donation has built, and like this is the family your donation is given to, and they'll just like introduce the family and whatnot, and there's usually a translator. But I think like that connection, like when you donate a house and the person that you donated it to calls you up from El Salvador and shows you the house they're building, I think that like solidifies like the what generosity really does, and like the impact it can have on people. So I think it's like on us to make that impactful to the donors, and especially I think like donors who donate a house, like 4,000 is quite a bit of money, and I think to be able to do like a 5-minute phone call can really impact that. And they said most people that have donated homes have done it annually. They never stopped. So it's actually really cool. A lot of people have really built the support system of like just showing the donors what the impact they've done, and I think we can do that as well here in Puerto Benny, and just showing the support and what that looks like out there with quite a minimal effort at the end of the day. So, any other questions in regards to the fundraiser? Like main fundraiser, we'll go into like individual fundraising in a second, but I'm just wondering if you guys have any more questions in regards to like that's pretty much a big fundraiser idea. If you guys have any other fundraiser ideas, love to discuss them. There's lots of opportunities throughout the summer that we can do this. Obviously, we will need the manpower behind it to kind of figure out the capacity that we can hold these fundraisers in. But we're always open to new ideas. In the past, talking to other teams, most of the fundraising comes from individual efforts, talking to their friends and the connections out there. And again, just to reiterate, the hope and the goal for each person is to kind of fundraise for their cost, in-country costs, which is about $2,000, as well as fundraise for one home. And that ratio works out because when we go as a team, we build about that many homes. So if a team of 8 people went, we would build about 8 homes in the course of that week. So, yeah. Perfect. Appreciate that. I mean, Rod did really good too. Yes. So that's a great question. Essentially, what's been asked is that if you have the community fund or like the general funding for Alberni builders, they're wondering if the funds will be able to cover the in-country cost and the traveling costs. The short answer is no. So that the general funds cannot be moved backwards to personal or flight country. That's why it's very important that you guys specify when you are looking for donations or paying out of pocket yourself to your flight costs as well as your in-country costs, because we cannot pull backwards. Essentially, we cannot pull money that has been donated to build homes for us to travel. That's how it works with shelter. So, because they essentially don't want people that have donated and knowingly donated towards a house moving that money so that someone can go over to El Salvador. Because someone might say, well, then I'm just funding your travel. And some people much rather know that the money is going directly to a home. And so we just want to be transparent with that and saying there's a difference between fundraising to a house as well as fundraising so that you can go over there. How you do that and how you present that to hopefully your sponsors is up to you, but they have to specify when donating that those funds are for your in-country costs or your travel costs or just your name. You can just specify by your name. If it specifies for your name, it's going to go to your in-country or your house, and if they do not specify, it goes to the homes being built at the end of the day. Yeah, so I have Mrs. Russ. She's making some flyers that we can hand out to the people that we know. There's a couple different ideas as well of emails that can be sent. There's mock emails as well if you guys would like to see what some examples of what that looks like, sending the people you know. Personally, it's nice to have a conversation one-on-one with those folks. I recommend doing them one-on-one personally than sending an email. It's very easy to decline an email. I can just say that. Sorry, can't help. Send, done, right? But when you're talking to someone and you're sharing this and you're excited about like being able to go down and help these people and you can able to share some information, it's much harder, I find, to say no to someone that's asking you like personally, more relationally that way. So it's all about building relations at the end of the day for donation. So. 100%. So how the auction works, that's a great question. How the auction works is that at the end of the auction, everybody that has committed to an amount will pay all those amounts online through their cards. They will all receive a receipt immediately, just like Miriam did 30 seconds later. And anyone who donates anything, whether it's for your in-country costs, whether it's for your traveling costs, whether it's for the building, will all receive a tax write-off. So that is the one benefit that donating to the shelter organization, because everything's donated there and then divvied out to the traveling, divvied out. That way everything's still a tax write-off. And so that's something that you guys can definitely like say to the potential donors that like at the end of the day this will be a tax write-off for you. It's an organization that is certified in Canada, that has unorganized. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh, can't remember, but they give everybody tax receipts. So it is definitely one of those things that you can let them know, both whether it's going to be at the fundraisers or if they're doing personal donations. We really encourage you guys just to push everyone through the website. Usually it's easier for people to use visas or debit cards and whatnot, so I would just recommend doing that. A lot less paperwork on the shelter team side and for our side as well. But if not, if the only way they can do it is cash, a card, or check, or if they do a check and whatnot, a bit more work on our end, but we'll gladly take whatever donations that they are able to do. So, yep. Mrs. Russ had talked to me recently, and actually talked to, I think, Pastor Matt and I, about certain funds that have come through the bottle drive. I think the inclination, now correct me if I'm wrong, is that funds will be just moving over to donations to the shelter, and then everything from this point on will also be moved for the shelter. I am quite sure that's how it is. I might be a bit wrong, but I can confirm with that. Definitely. Yep. Definitely. Definitely. Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. That funding is planned to be used as fundraising for shelter. So yeah, individual, like I said, we're gonna get some emails out there, and we're gonna get some posters out there, some cards that you can give to your friends, to your families, to businesses that you know. If in town, it will be a little bit different, especially if you're going to businesses. I recommend if we can make maybe a group chat just so that we don't hit the same businesses several times, because Puerto Bunny's not that large. So I think it'd be a good idea if we're going to do businesses that we have an idea of what businesses we've already done and what businesses are on the list, just so that we don't accidentally just like triple up on the same business. Because I feel like, as a business owner, it can be hard if 4 people come to ask you for money from the same organization. So, any other questions in regards to donations? No. They that makes it much more difficult on a legal basis terms, because if you make the donation and then you're going to be making it in their name and whatnot, so it's like it gets complicated that way. What is the most recommended practice? They fill out the form, or you work with them to fill out the form, or if they give you money. Essentially, if you give you money, the only other option it would be going to the church, and then going from the church donation to shelter donation, and then the church giving you the receipt. But it just gets quite complicated in that regards. I recommend, if possible, try to get them through the online forms if possible. But if not, like I said, we'll be able to take any form of donation. It just means a bit more of a process. I don't recommend people doing them personally, like trying to take their money and then donating the money online and then filling out the form and whatnot. It just can get quite complicated, and I just don't want anything to get missed by accident and whatnot, and then they hey, I thought I donated more money. I thought I gave you more cash and whatnot, and I only see that I've got a receipt for this much, which could just be a mistake, but then it gets really iffy at that point in time. So I just want to try to keep it as clean as we can. And if something arises where they bring cash or whatnot, then I'm going to check with Carrie just to confirm what her best practices are for cash. I know for checks, we'll just take the checks. They'll be written to shelter, and then we send all those checks in. But for cash, that's one of the hard ones. I'm trying to remember. She had told me once, but I can't remember off the top of my head of what that looks like for cash. But yeah, there is a process though. I just will have to confirm what that is. Yeah, I think because they're all linked to churches, it's I think the process is like it goes to the church donates it, and then they write off the tax receipt to the person. But then it goes from the church rather than from shelter. But again, I could be wrong. I just want to confirm if that's the process they want us to go through. So, any other questions? Nope. Okay. I think we're just about there, guys. Again, like I said, there's 2 videos that I want to uh, ask you guys to watch before the next session. The next session, we're going to just confirm the dates. It will be in either end of May or just the beginning of June. I know graduation and a bunch of things come towards June, so we'll try our best to accommodate your guys' schedule, because we want, as I say, as many of you, hopefully everyone that's going on the trip will be there. It's something that we want to do as a team together and build a team together, but also we want to be able to make sure that if there's any questions, nothing gets missed or dropped and whatnot. So we could, I don't know if you guys have your schedules, we could try to preemptively plan something, or would it be better if you guys just give me in the last week of May, first week of June, your availability, and then I can kind of coordinate what that looks like. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Last week of May, first week of June, I think it's kind of the area that we thought of. Let me just take a look here. Sorry, what was that? First week of June better. Bum, bum, bum. That's true. So on the schedule that I had written before, I actually have July. So we can do it anywhere in the June to July dates as well. It would probably be ideal is if we do it right before our auction, because then we can hammer out any other details. So let me figure out an auction date with the casino and see when we can book the venue. Then I'll go back and reach out with you guys and say, can this date work for you guys? Because it's vital that we have people to be able to work and support us and volunteer for that. So, and then we can base our meeting before that, if that works for you guys. How many people are signed up? So far we have Pastor Matt. Rod, I think, is still doing his application. Rod, do we have a confirmation on you? Okay, so we have a verbal confirmation from Rod. I don't know if you filled out the form yet, but that's something that we will need you to do, the form and the deposit on there as well. Alex, Kiara have both filled out the forms and done the deposit. Isaac has done his form and filled out his deposit. Diane is putting her deposit today and will be filling out a form shortly. Just because she didn't have a passport, she hasn't filled the form yet. But like I said, we've asked you guys to fill out your forms, and then when your passport comes in. So I have as well, and Pam has also done her deposit and her application. So far confirmed, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 people. And Samson is deciding today. The Lord bless his soul. Whether he, and then Dr. Nell as well as possibly. He's confirming as well. So, and yeah, sorry, both of them. I don't know if he is fully confirmed yet or not, but. Oh, okay, perfect, excellent. So. Okay, well, we can all dogpile after if he doesn't, so. But I can't say that on the record, so. we have to stop recording before that happens. No, just kidding. Yes, we have two right here. Oh wait, we can have the discussion after the record is. So, we have postponed our final deadline to the end of next week because we know that some people will still be on the fence, and I wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to talk to them for this meeting. So we have essentially postponed the deadline till the end of this week. But if you guys have made the decision here today, we would like you guys to, yeah. So yeah, just because at the end of the day, postponing it doesn't, like, we're all busy, we all have jobs and whatnot, so we don't want just to be next week come along and be, oh yeah, something I forgot to do and whatnot. So we just ask that if you guys are committed, just make the commitment, and then we also know for ourselves the numbers that wise. But yeah, we're super excited because even a week or two ago we did not know how many people we had, and so I had asked Carrie, like, what's the smallest amount of people we can have? She did say 2 people, but she said the budget on the website exactly is an arbitrary number. We roughly said possibly about 15 people. I think if everybody comes here that has showed up today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, yeah. So, there's yeah, so there's roughly about 11 potentially. We have, like I said, 8 already confirmed and paid, and then the potential of possibly 3 more. That would be Dr. Nell and his wife, and then possibly again Samson. So I think we're gonna have a great team at the end of the day. I have. The daughter? Okay. Do you know when you can get a confirmation on that, Rod? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I will be hoping to hear back from and getting applications from possibly Dr. Nail and his wife, your daughter, Rod, and then yes or no from Samson, essentially. Daniel signed up for school the week of, and he's unfortunately had to make a choice between schooling and then the trip, and he's pushed schooling back for quite some time. So it's yeah. So yep. If that is all the questions, we're going to wrap this up. I'm just going to say a prayer for us, and then I can answer any questions. If I don't have your information, and I think I have most of you guys' information except for whose information do I have? I will figure out after this if I have your information or not. But let me just say a quick prayer for us, and then we can close. Dear Heavenly Father, we're just so grateful and thankful for all these servant hearts, Lord, and for everyone that has come today just to learn more about this trip and to commit or have already committed to going. We just pray that we continue growing as a team that is just willing to serve you in a different country and willing to put all the legwork in here. May we just pray that you go forth into this community, Lord, and open the hearts of the people and the businesses as we go forth and just ask for donations, Lord. We just pray that each and every one of these individuals will be bold, Lord, and realize that that you provide. And as daunting as the amount that we are looking to raise might be right now, we just know that you provide, and we're doing this for you, and you will sustain us both physically and financially and spiritually, Lord. So we just pray that we can continue growing as individuals and closer to you in this experience. In your name we pray. Amen. Just an update for fundraising. We are at $5,200 already. So we're already, so if, sorry? Yeah, we already done one house. So, essentially, how that looks like in the relations, if we have 13 people going, it'll be around $80,000. So, we're already a long ways into it without actually really pushing much effort into the fundraising just yet. So, we're very grateful for some of the folks that have already fundraised and whatnot, and we are super excited to continue fundraising. So, yeah, I will get you those informations cards for fundraising for individuals. I recommend sending those messages and say, hey, I'd love to chat with you. I'm involved with this fundraising group, with this third world missions group that builds homes, and would love to talk to you or sit down for coffee and whatnot. Again, at the end of the day, they have found that most donors will donate annually, as long as you can keep the relationship side of things. So that's one of the most important things for this. I feel as this trip is to realize that you're building relationship as much as you're asking for donations. It's a relationship building skill. So they say it really takes a community to support a team to go out there, and I strongly believe that as well. And I think as you do so, you'll be able to maybe share some light in an area that may not have a whole lot of light and hope and whatnot. So yeah, I am super excited to see us work as a team as well. And yeah, if you guys have any ideas again for fundraising, please let me know. And for those who don't have my information and I don't have theirs, let me get that so that I can send you the 2 videos and the links for that. Any last ending questions? Yes. We will most likely do another meeting for specifically that fundraiser. I think it'll be a lot more informal, and we'll talk to the people that can actually make it, and then find a time that works with us. So, and I'll be reaching out to you guys once I figure out the date of when we can even book the venue. But we should probably have another meeting because there's a lot of details and coordination involved in that event and whatnot. So. That is a good idea. Perfect. You know, that 100%. I think that's a great idea. At the end of the day, yeah, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Uh, I'll talk and see what that looks like and how we can, yeah, totally. More hands make light work at the end of the day. Yes, absolutely. People love to come alongside those and support. Definitely. No, it was really cool. 100% they did. So, okay, yeah, I think that's it, guys. Thank you for coming out tonight. And like I said, I need to get any information. I think I have everyone's except for, again, I'm so sorry. Diane. Okay, I gotta think of Princess Diana, I think. That's you did? That's even better. Now clicks in my brain. Diane. Okay, excellent. Diane, I just need to grab your contact. Barad? Okay. Splendid. Splendid. Okay, that is it for me. Um, if there's any other questions you guys have, I will get that. I will get your email, Dr. Nell, as well. And then I told the group we have postponed the deadline to the end of next week. And so I'll send you the applications and the forms for that as well. And go from there. Yes, and set up the communication so that we can all be on the same page. Great. Have a great night, everybody.